Alright, in my last video the other day I commented on my Fuji pictures that I took and way oversaturated back when I first started with this photography, so I'm going to go step by step on how you can selectively adjust saturation levels on the colors that you want in the picture that you feel are blown out. So here we go. Okay, here's the one of the pictures that I took 3 or 4 years ago while we were camping up at Fish Lake in the Eagle Cap Mountains. I like the subject, the deer and everything, but wow, did I oversaturate everything when it comes to colors. So I recently learned from Phlearn, P-H-L-E-A-R-N, I believe is how you spell their name. Aaron Nace, he did a walkthrough on how to adjust the colors individually on a picture like this, so I'm going to see if I can explain it all to you. So we're going to go down, we're going to open up in the bottom right hand corner, we're going to open up a hue and saturation layer. As you can see, that opens up hue, saturation, lightness, and then the color spectrum on this slider that's going to happen right here. First, it's master is selected. I'm going to change that because, as you can see, my greens are way blown out. So I'm going to click on the arrow, come down to greens. That automatically selects the green spectrum that it has in here. If you slide your hue slider all the way over to the right, you can see that these are the areas that would be adjusted right now. I'm going to expand on that. I'll slide the saturation over all the way. That opens up a few more things, and then we're going to increase the spectrum, the green spectrum, by hitting these little brackets on either side. We're going to open it up a little bit, just at the edge of the yellows. We're going to open up on this side a little bit. Now, if we play with this, you see how we slide it? Now, if we go extreme all the way off to the left-hand side, you can see everything is adjusted. Everything's affected. As I slowly move it back over to the right, the deer is going to slowly start approaching the color that we want. As soon as you can see that there is no adjustments being made, there we go. No adjustments being made to the deer. Now, that looks kind of funky. Let's go back up to the hue and saturation. We'll reset their values at 0. Now we're at the original spot where we started on this picture, but now we adjust the saturation, or I'm just going to go with the saturation to start off with. See, the deer stays the same. If I go either end on the spectrum with saturation, it's just the greens that are being adjusted. So this is approximately where we started off with. If I move it up, everything gets too green, but if I move it back down, all of a sudden the green isn't so, what's the word I'm looking for? Powerful. So we'll back it all off. That looks pretty good right there. We can play with this slider, introduce a little bit more yellow if we want. My memory shows that this right here is pretty accurate to where we were. So that looks pretty good for the greens and everything that I've adjusted all the way around the deer, but the deer itself is looking kind of orange. Before I get to that though, I'm going to turn on and turn off the hue saturation layer just so you can see the adjustment that I've made to the greens. It's off. Now it doesn't look like a huge difference, the greens, but it's a noticeable difference. Actually, you know what? I'm going to actually adjust it just a tiny bit more. Back off the greens a little bit darker now. Yes, much better. Okay, so now I'm going to open up another hue and saturation layer. And this time I'm going to go up to where it says master, and I'm going to come down to the reds. And I'm going to adjust the reds. The reason I want to adjust the reds is because this deer, it's orange. That's part of the red spectrum. So we're going to crank the hues all the way up. We're going to crank the saturation all the way up. We'll open up the spectrum of reds. Now we're going to start adjusting it. Now this might look a little bit ridiculous where I'm going to leave it, but you'll see right there. I want my main concern is the deer right now. So let's go back and reset these values to 0. Okay. Now I can back this off and it will just adjust the deer. Now that's a more of a natural looking deer color. Turn it on and off, you can see the green stayed pretty much the same. All I did was adjust the color of the deer. Now one thing that bugs me about this picture and seems very unnatural, this stump right here, it looks blue. There was no blue up in the mountains. So I'm going to see if I can do one more hue and saturation layer and see if I can go to the master, down to the blues. We'll crank them all the way up, see? That's the only thing that's moving. So that's the area that I want it to adjust. I'm going to open up the blue spectrum a little bit to make sure I don't miss anything. And we'll slide it over. Okay, this is going to be adjusted. This tiny little bit down here is minor, and this tiny little bit right here. So we'll reset the values to zeros. And then we'll slowly back up. And as we do, that blue is no longer blue. It's looking more of a grayish color. That's more natural. It's not a huge adjustment on the blues because there wasn't a whole large area that I wanted to play with, but here I'll turn it on and off and you can see there's the blue, there's without the blue. I like that a whole lot better. So that was basically what I learned from Aaron at Phlearn on how to adjust the individual colors. If you like this, click like. I'm learning as I go. I literally learned this day before yesterday. So once again, if you like it, click like. If you don't like it or think I should do something different, leave a comment. Thank you.
Alright, so that's my attempt at showing how to adjust individual colors in Photoshop. I will show you right now. There's the original and there's the adjusted. So you can see, minute adjustments on each of the individual colors makes a big difference on the photo. So give it a try yourself. And like I said in my previous video, YouTube is your friend. It will teach you how to do everything you want it to. So good luck, have fun, take some pictures.